In Chapter 3, we will look at adolescent diversity. Why is it important to consider diversity when understanding adolescent development? Well, that's because not all adolescents are alike. They come from diverse backgrounds and ethnic and cultural backgrounds. How does socioeconomic status influence adolescent development? One angle that we will consider is how being in a family with low socioeconomic status may actually affect development during adolescence. Finally, we'll take a look at some different ethnic groups and how what characteristics they have. The racial ethnic makeup of the United States in 2014 was Caucasian 77%, African American 13%, Asian 6%, and Native American 2%. What does low socioeconomic status mean? The term low socioeconomic status will be used to discuss adolescents who are both lower social class and are poor. Unlike other commonly used terms, this term represents both low social standing and low income levels. Some people will be of low income level, but not necessarily a low social standing, such as a starving artist. Some people will have high income levels, but be considered of low social standing, such as a drug dealer. The prevalence of low income can be represented by a number of households that are below the poverty line. In 2013, this was 15% of the U.S. population. By race and ethnicity, African American 27%, Native American 27%, Latino, any race, 24%, Asian, 11%, and non-Hispanic white, 10%. Limitations of low socioeconomic status. For these adolescents, they have limited opportunities, which can include exposure to social and cultural experiences or educational and career attainment, a sense of helplessness and powerlessness, a feeling that they'll never be able to get ahead, deprivation and hardship, which arises from the knowledge and awareness of their lower income and social standing as relative to others, as well as an immersion in unhealthy and unpleasant environments. Insecurity may result from many of the consequences of low socioeconomic status, such as sickness, loss of work, injury, family problems, eviction, and so on. And finally, there is a cycle of poverty. Children living in poverty often grow up to be adults living in poverty. Parenting for the low socioeconomic status family often has negative effects. Parents are stressed out, and so this tends to lead them to be less warm and nurturing. They also tend to use more harsh and inconsistent discipline. Also, adolescents may see their parents as being closed and inaccessible, which will lead to problems between the parent and child. Some characteristics of the different ethnic groups. African American families have very strong family strengths. They often have strong kinship bonds among their family members. They often have adaptable roles, and they also have very strong religious orientations. Latino adolescents, the Mexican American adolescents, typically come from Mexico. This is a very young population with a median age of 25. They tend to live in urban, segregated areas. They have stable families. They adhere to Mexican cultural values, such as very traditional sex roles and patriarchal families, familialism, and Catholicism. Their families emphasize cooperation rather than independence, and they have very discrete views of men and women as far as heterosexual relationships, emphasizing machismo in men and modesty for women. For Puerto Rican Latino adolescents, many of them live in the Northeast. Although Puerto Rican Latinos are free to enter and travel the U.S. because they are citizens, their unique experiences are that they're likely to be English speaking. They tend to have higher educational attainment, And they also have higher rates of poverty, lower rates of marriage, and higher rates of out-of-wedlock births. They also have a very strong sense of family interdependence and unity. For the Native American adolescents, children are seen as assets. They're taught a number of values. They are taught to be loyal to the family and tribe. Children are taught to revere their elders. They're also taught to be independent and to endure difficulties with bravery and courage. There are some cultural conflicts with the white culture. The Native American values, they are more present-oriented, focused on harmony and nature, and they're more group-oriented than the white culture, and they place more value on elders. This results in identity crisis in many Native American teens. They must decide whether to assimilate to the white culture versus maintaining their traditional culture. The leading cause of death for 15 to 19-year-old Native American teens is suicide. And then for Asian American adolescents, they have actually been labeled the model minority because they are successful at achieving the American dream. Asian Americans have a higher average family income than all other ethnic minority groups. This ethnic group also outscores all others on college entrance exams. However, they still face discrimination.